Welcome. I'd like to call this January 13th, 2025 council meeting to order. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to another year. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Here.
DeSalvo. Here. Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here. Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I will move that the minutes of the regular meeting of December 9th of 2024 and our organizational meeting of January 7th, 2025, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second. Any discussion on the approval of the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll?
DeSalvo. Yes. Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Thank you. Special Legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a meeting at 5:30 today to discuss the quadricycle that will be soon joining the city in the party bus going around. Pretty much just laying out where the vehicle can be during certain times of the day, because we don't want to tie up the traffic on the square during rush hour and things like that. So we'll be voting on it next finance meeting.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled and nothing new to report.
Thank you. Emerging Technologies, Mrs. DeSalvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled at this time and nothing to report.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. 2501, 2025 membership renewal for Main Street Medina. 2502, refund rubbish charges. 2503, budget amendment. 2504, fund transfer MCRC capital contribution. 2505, fund transfer railroad fund. 2506, amend salaries and benefits 3105 and 3107, civil service secretary and job description. 2507, expenditure for Flock Group Police Department. 2508, expenditure for Akron uniforms for the police department. 2509, amendment to wellness service agreement MCRC. 2510, programmatic agreement Ohio Historic Preservation Office HUD funds. 2511, amend code 37101A crosswalks. 2512, LPA project agreement Prospect Street Bridge. 2513, LPA project agreement South Huntington Street Bridge. 2514, petition to join Jed Albrecht Inc. 2515, a then and now for Dell Technologies IT Department. 2516, expenditure to Paul Davis Restoration fiscal year 20 CHIP 30 Circle Drive. 2517, accept NOACA funding for State Road Resolution of Support. 2518, grant application to ODOT for State Road sidewalks. 2519, Delta Airport Consultants Task Order Number 8, snow removal equipment. 2520, RFQs, RFPs for fiscal year 25 CDBG consultant services. And 2521, RFQs, RFPs for fiscal year 25 CDBG fair housing services. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to welcome back council members. Hope you all and the public had a blessed and safe holiday season. As many of you know, the Promise of Christmas event was held this past weekend. This was the vision of Mark and Dana Claus to bring up families affected by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. They came up on Friday evening. There was a dinner for them at the White Birch Barn out on West Smith Road. A little more than 250 came up. Originally, there were 272. A few of the families chose not to come up because they were a little bit nervous about the weather at the time. Another, on a more sad note, was a couple families who are living in tents and have everything they own in those tents, and were fearful if they left and came up here for 3 days when they went back home, their things would be missing. But they provided at the White Birch Barn every person that came up with an envelope and asked them to hold them and open them all together. This was, if a family had 5 children, it was the 5 children and a parent or 2 parents. They all opened them up, and there was $250 in cash for each person to spend for holiday, to spend for food, to spend on whatever they chose. So that was a story that I wanted to share with the council. Just a reminder that this was put together in a little more than 2 months with the city, Castle Noel, Main Street Medina played a key role in it, the Medina County Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Greater Medina Area Chamber of Commerce. And they raised over $100,000 with donations. So just a couple other stories that may touch your heart too. So one of the young boys from North Carolina, the lower area where Chimney Rock is, the mountains get snow, but the lower area where Chimney Rock is doesn't. So the one boy told Mark Claus when he was doing his Castle Noel tour that he stayed up till the wee hours of the morning just sitting in front of the hotel window and watching the snow through the parking lot lights because it was just so amazing to them. There was another boy at the White Birch Barn who had a headset on, but the whole time he was walking around with it, he was holding the right side of it. And Mark told me then the following day that it was only the wires holding it on, the clip had broken. So after Castle Noel tours, depending on the sex and the ages of the children, they had designated gift bags for them to pick one. And didn't this young man pick a bag that had a brand new headset in there, which he told Mark was the one he had been looking at but couldn't afford. Just really moves you to see their gratitude. The other thing they talked about that I wanted to share with the council is every person they talked to on the sidewalk, every store they went in, every restaurant they went in, this is the friendliest people that they've ever come across. They told me people aren't like this down where we're from. So it reflected very positively on the city. And then just a couple more things. The United Way of Summit and Medina counties are offering free tax preparation for households that earn less than $67,000 per year. And you can schedule by dialing 911 or going to their website at www.uwsummitmedina.org/FEC. And then last but not least, the Healthy Business Council of Ohio has awarded the City of Medina again with a gold level in their 2024 Healthy Worksite Recognition Program. And I'm thankful to the staff's participation and council support of our Healthy Medina program, not only keeping our folks healthy, but maintaining this award level as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, it was 211.
Not 911.
Yeah, you said call 911.
Okay.
I don't know if the chief would like that.
That's because it's ingrained.
Do not call 911.
911
to
is
get your
ingrained in my
taxes.
mind. No, it's 211. Thank you.
Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I saw that too. It was 211 on the screen, but so hopefully
I know, I
nobody
was
calls
like,
911 and asks for tax prep help. That's not what we want to see. I had a chance to attend some of the Promise to Christmas event. I think it's really great reflection on our city, what we did with that. I thought it was really beautiful. There's a couple of items on the agenda that I will address and we'll get to. And I just want to point out that at the last regular meeting, Council President Coyne, who's an alumnus of the University of Tennessee, pointed out that his alma mater was playing my alma mater in a football game. And I just want to let him know that the college football playoffs are going pretty well for Ohio State. I don't know about the SEC.
I was going
but
to say, how would that go?
Well,
How'd that
football was
work
a little
out?
rough, but I guess you got to check out the basketball team. They're doing a little better. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome back, and I have no report this evening.
Chief Kenny, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll give a quick update on the deer program. We currently have 12 permits issued and 8 deer have been harvested since the beginning of bow season.
Thank you. Sergeant Zaremba, the computer guy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick update. We've begun our migration off of our mail system that we had in place, email system for over 20 years here, to new Office 365. And I just wanted to take a moment and mention Justin Fields, my colleague, as he's been instrumental in helping myself get us cut over to the new system.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, building official.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, city engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple little end-of-the-year tidbits. Council might remember last year in May, I think we installed a airport monitoring system out at our airport, and it got the final numbers. The last 6 months of the year, we had a total of 15,381 aircraft operations out there. Secondly, our water system. 2024, our average daily water use was 3.01 million gallons a day. This is notable because this is the 5th year in a row that our water use has gone up, and it's the first time we've been over 3 million gallons a day since 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick update. We did award our Reagan Park Cold Storage Building project a few weeks ago, and it was under budget, and we are anticipating construction to start sometime mid-February. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Confirmation of mayor's appointment. We have one, Bob Starcher for Records Commission for a term expiring 12/31/25.
Move to confirm the mayor's appointment.
Second.
Any discussion on the mayor's appointment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the mayor's appointment?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
At this time, I'd entertain a motion to designate the clerk of council and/or the deputy clerk of council to act as the mayor, the director of finance, and city council's designee to attend public records training as required by sections 14943 and 10943 of the Ohio Revised Code.
I will make a motion to authorize our clerk of council and deputy clerk of council as a designee for public records training.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. And you're
Notices, communication, petitions, there's none. There's no unfinished business. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit, approximately 5 minutes, will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting determined by the chair or by a vote of majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Yes, Tammy.
Hi, folks. Thanks you for coming back for 2025. Appreciate everything everybody's done for 2024. Tammy Kirby, 246 West Friendship Street. I just wanted to reiterate and expand on the promise to the Christmas event that we had. The folks that I had talked to said they had a wonderful time. They were appreciative of everything we had done. So I don't want to pick out anybody because there was a host of people that participated to make this event occur. And I just want to thank everyone for putting this together. And it was, from my point of view, a good success. Second point, the pedal bike. What rate, is it staying right on the square, or is it going to go to, how far off the square? I wasn't able to attend the 5:30 meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Rose can answer that.
The meeting was just to restrict when it can be on the square and when it can not be on the square, so we don't impact rush hour traffic. But like, say, back in the neighborhoods and off of the main drags, there's really no restrictions. Can't be on North Court Street, or can't be on Court Street between Harding and Lafayette, going north and south, but it can go cross the street, like, say, if it's on North Street, for example. It could go east-west across the street, but it can't be on it because it is too slow, max speed 5 miles an hour. We don't want it tying up traffic.
So it can't, so that isn't within a certain radius of being in the square. If they want to pedal way out somewhere and pedal way back,
Yeah,
they're
more
allowed
power
to
to
do
them,
that.
yes. they can do that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address council at this time?
Oh, Angela.
Okay, Angela's making her way back there.
I didn't plan on coming to say anything, but the mayor kind of brought some things up. Again, Promise of Christmas was a great success. I think I was out there all day on Saturday through the evening, and so I got to overhear a lot of comments, and just wanted to share them just, again, so people can really understand the impact that all the efforts that were made by the mayor's team and all of the other partners. I think we all went to bed pretty well that night, knowing we did something pretty good, and the fact that Medina just really shined. People came out. We asked them ahead of time, like, come out and share this day with them, and they really did come out for the parade and the fireworks. And I saw people saying, "Are you from North Carolina?" They were approaching people. It was hard because some of the lanyards were in jackets and stuff, and they wanted to welcome them. They did exactly what we asked them to do. So it wasn't just like our team of people who've been meeting. It was spread across Medina, and they came and they showed up. But a couple of comments during the parade, as this little boy is watching the parade, he said to his daddy, "I'm not sad today." That was a little sentence, but it said a lot. But I think one of the best stories I heard was early in the day, and this woman, I think I told Sarah about this woman and her friend were sitting there in Sully's, and she was asking about the whole program, and I thought she was from North Carolina or part of the Promise of Christmas people. Here, she's a resident in North Carolina, but she still has a home here in Medina. She was looking on her phone weeks before and saw a Google article about our story and said, "Oh my gosh, that's my hometown." So she got in her car, and she and her friend drove up to witness what Medina was going to do for her now fellow residents of North Carolina. And she said she came because she was so proud of her hometown. And she was still there. Did you see her? She was still there seeing the parade and the fireworks after. She stayed the whole entire day watching this all unfold. So that was a whole story that the whole time we were meeting, we never thought we'd hear that story. You know, we just kept focusing on the residents that were affected or our community. But here was somebody else from the outside who felt a connection with both and was just proud enough to, I mean, it's not like it's down the road. I mean, she got in her car and drove from North Carolina to witness what her town, her hometown, was going to do for some of her fellow residents, and was really proud of that. So those are just some things I wanted to share. And again, I'm always impressed, event after event I get to do with the mayor's team. Thank you guys all around this room for making my job very easy. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishes to address council?
Thank you too, Angela, for all your hard work.
Okay, introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 125, ordinance 225, 325, 425, Resolution 525, ordinance 625, 725, 825, 925, Resolution 1025, ordinance 1125, 1225, 1325, 1425, 1525, 1625, and 1725.
Mr. President?
Mr. Shields?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinance and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 125, a resolution authorizing the mayor to submit a grant application for the America 250 Ohio grant to be used towards funding of America 250 storytelling and education activities in 2026.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Who's just going to talk about this? Anybody? Mayor?
I'll take it. So we're involved in this America 250 grant and their, event, which is going to happen in 2026. And this is an opportunity to get some grant dollars to use for specific activities during the months of the event.
Thank you. Any further comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Resolution 125 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 225, an ordinance authorizing expenditure not to exceed $139,850 to Technology Engineering Group for IT services, software, and phone systems for the city of Medina.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it now.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Sergeant Zaremba.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the combined expenses that we normally break out into smaller meetings and smaller Board of Controls and Finance for a variety of services that we use this company for, from phone services, VoIP services, to antivirus, to endpoint detection, to dual-factor authentication, and much more. So what we did this year was we thought it made more sense to combine it, which we did. It went through Finance and now Council. I'm asking for the emergency clause because I didn't know there was a break at the end of December, and I need to pay the bills at the end of January.
You didn't know we needed to rest a little bit? Okay. Guess it's okay. All right, any further discussion on the ordinance or emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 225 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 325, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for snow removal equipment for use at the municipal airport.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Patton?
Thank you. This is a piece of equipment that we use. The city took over snow removal operations at the airport last winter, I believe. And this is a piece of equipment that will greatly assist in that effort. We are going to be using FAA funds for this. They'll pay for up to 90% of the cost of the snow removal equipment.
Thank you. Any emergency clause?
We hope to get it soon enough to use it this year yet.
Any more discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 325 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 425, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a stormwater operations and maintenance agreement, SWOMA, from Discount Drug Mart for a newly installed stormwater detention system.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. As council knows, we passed a number of these. This is required by the EPA as of a few years ago. It's an agreement that will get recorded and basically compels the owner, in this case Drug Mart, to certain required maintenance and reporting every year.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 425 passes 7-0.
Resolution 525, a resolution requesting the county auditor to make tax advances during the year 2025 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 32134.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have to officially request this. We do this every year, but we have to officially request this or else we don't get paid until the final settlement.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Resolution 525 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 625, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure not to exceed $130,000 to Medina County Treasurer for the courthouse lease payment.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. You may recall the first payment for this year was actually approved last year because it was out of last year's budget because it was due January 1st. So this is the two payments that are the middle one of this year and the first one of next.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 625 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 725, ordinance authorizing the expenditure to Epic Aviation for the purchase of Jet A fuel at Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and the emergency clause. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. The emergency clause is because we're going to need to buy fuel before it would take effect, so we need the emergency clause. The ordinance is to pay for jet fuel, which we purchase. This should cover the year, but I mean, we're guessing as to what the price of fuel will be. So obviously, if fuel prices go up, we will need additional funds. If they stay low, we won't spend all of this.
Any further discussion on the ordinance and/or the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of emergency clause?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 725 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 825, an ordinance authorizing the payment to Software Solutions, Inc., SSI, for annual support services for the city VIP professional accounting system.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's no emergency clause because this is not until March, but this is divvied up by departments based on the number of seat licenses that each one has.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 825 passes 7-0.
Resolution 925, a resolution expressing the intent to sell municipally owned personal property which is no longer needed for which it was acquired by internet auction during the calendar year 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is required that the legislative authority each year permit us to do this for those items that we think would be better sold or increase the revenue by going on an internet auction versus the annual auction here.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Resolution 925 passes 7-0.
Resolution 1025, a resolution accepting a donation from Ken Cleveland Foundation to be used for the purchase and installation of a replacement playground structure at Ken Cleveland Park.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Towards the end of last year, we approached the Ken Cleveland Foundation to see if they would have interest in funding a playground replacement project at Ken Cleveland Park. The foundation agreed to fund the entire cost of the purchase and installation to the amount of $111,928. We're appreciative of the foundation for considering this project to allow us to replace the playground that's over 30 years old with a very large, very nice playground. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Resolution 1025 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1125, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a replacement playground for Ken Cleveland Park from Snyder Recreation, Inc.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This request is to get a purchase order for the playground purchase and installation through Snyder Recreation, who is the authorized representative of Burke Equipment. This purchase is being made through Sourcewell contract, and the emergency clause is requested because the purchase order must be received prior to the end of January. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 1125 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1225, an ordinance amending ordinance number 20124 passed November 12th, 2024, pertaining to the expenditure to Rocco Masonry for the street department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
I can take this, Mr.
Oh,
President.
Mr. Mayor?
So we, the council approved $55,000 earlier for the sandstone squares around the historic district. We're going to do half last year and half this coming year. And while we had Rocco Masonry in town, they've done a great deal of concrete work for the city. The request was made by the water department that as long as the weather permitted, to add another $12,000 to it to do some of the water repairs instead of waiting for the spring. So that $12,000 is out of the water account for water break areas.
Okay, any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 1225 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1325, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a guaranteed maximum price agreement number 1 with the Ruling Company for the work at the Medina Municipal Courthouse.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will be the first of 3 guaranteed maximum price agreements with Rulin. The first one includes asbestos abatement and selective demolition. This had been estimated to cost $2.1 million. That was approved by Finance Committee prior to the break. When the actual bids came in, happy to say that number dropped to $1.3 million. We are not requesting the emergency clause with this one.
Thank you. And the cost of this is divided between the 301, I think, or 169 account, the Court Special Projects Fund of $683,078, and the 301 account, the capital account for the city, which is same thing, $683,078. We are glad to see that the price came in a lot lower than originally anticipated back in December when we passed an ordinance for $2.1 million. So this is a good thing. And hopefully Patrick can keep up the good work and make the other ones lower also.
We'll do our best.
Okay, any more further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Ordinance 1325 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1425, ordinance authorizing the payment to Paul Davis Restoration for the private home rehabilitation at 30 Circle Drive as part of the fiscal year 20 CHIP grant program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and emergency clause. Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a payment of $40,115 to Paul Davis Restoration, working on a CHIP project at 30 Circle Drive. The funds come out of our CHIP program income, which are funds which are accumulated from our CHIP project in the past. The project includes a number of miscellaneous items to complete the rehabilitation, including repair of garage door, replacement of windows and doors, flooring, kitchen sink and cabinet replacement, and basement glass block installation. The emergency clause is requested as the project was began in December, and we are working to complete this program year 20 CHIP. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of emergency clause?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 1425 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1525, an ordinance amending ordinance number 20924 passed November 25th, 2024, amendments to the 2025 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our first budget amendment of 2025. We're amending the budget to repay an overcharge for sanitation charges.
Any further discussion? And this overpayment's due to somebody that I work with, so I'm going to abstain on this one. So will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Abstain.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 1525 passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Ordinance 1625, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's 2 here. Both of them are recurring items. One is the city's contribution to the Rec Center Capital Fund, and the other is the city's contribution to the Railroad Fund.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on a, do you want to?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. Move to approve.
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 1625 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 1725, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in the funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes emergency clause.
Discussion on the ordinance and the emergency clause. Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. As discussed at Finance Committee, this was a purchase order that existed in '24, was closed at the end of the year, so we need a new one in '25. And the emergency clause is because the computers have already been delivered. We need to get them paid for.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 1725 passes 7-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Coyne. I always get on my bully pulpit about being kind, but I think this past weekend proves that quite a few members of our community has taken that to heart, with the love that was shown and the respect that was shown for the people that suffered such terrible loss. So I appreciate that. The only other thing I want to say is OH. There you go.
Ms. Hare?
With the temperatures falling as they are, and I'm not a cold weather person, aside from being kind to your neighbors, if you notice something, maybe your neighbor's not outside, you have elderly neighbors, help your neighbors out if you can with the cold temperatures that we have coming forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hazeltine?
A couple of things. I just wanted to give a shout out to our rec center. I already sent this to Mr. Worley, but I was on Facebook's doom scrolling per usual, and I came across this woman goes different places and she writes reviews on them. She takes her little girl to them, and she went to our rec center and she posted pictures and talked about how fabulous it was and how accommodating it was. But the thing that really made me super proud was that I looked in the comments, of course, and somebody said, well, is it really inclusive for everybody? And they were talking about black people. They wanted to know how they would be treated. And the comments went on, and unanimously, tons of people jumped on and said, everybody's respected there, everybody is treated well there. People jumped on. I have kids of color that I bring, that are my children. I'm a black person. And they said we've never had any problems. And that was just really cool. It shouldn't be an issue, but it was cool that so many people jumped on the comments and were like, no, absolutely no problems. We love all kinds of people. We feel so welcome there. So I shot that text over, and I was just really proud. It's nice to be known as a welcoming city. And on that note, with the promise of Christmas this weekend, a lot of you know I work at All Fired Up, so I worked on Saturday, and it was really cool to see all these people. They did show up and show out. There were so many people on the square, and it was so cold, but I knew that's why they were all out, and we had a lot of people come in just to look around, because, it takes a week to get your pottery back when you come to All Fired Up. So nobody painted, but they were just really, they all said how nice it was, how everybody was so nice, how all the shops were so cool. So that makes me really proud too. And then if anybody cares, the next meeting is my last one. So I just thought I'd let everyone know, because everyone keeps asking, when are you done? I will be done in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Salvo?
Sure. I just wanted to say I was still feeling a little under the weather, so I was not able to make any of the festivities. However, I'm a big advocate for shooting off fireworks from the parking lot buildings because I got to see them from my front yard. So that was great. Thank you.
They were great. They were very good.
Hear them.
Mr. Rose?
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. And one thing with the winter coming on, I know the chief is on this one, but make sure if you have a fire plug in your front yard, make sure it's clean. So in the unlikely event that Chief Walters and his team needs to use it, they can find it quickly. We had, several years ago, we had a problem with that and lost a house because of that. The promise of Christmas was a great thing. A lot of comments I received. even one from a person who lives in North Carolina but could not make it. They thought it was a great thing for us to do for the community. And looking forward to another good year.
Thank you. Ms. Shields? All right, with that, the first meeting is adjourned. We ask everybody to come back again at the next meeting. Thank you.